Hey everyone, Christine IC here and welcome back to my channel. So this video, we've taken a break from the van build for a little bit just due to other projects needed to come first. We celebrated 30 years of wedding bliss and brings us to the van. Van build is like building a house almost. We're taking the experiences from the RV to the minivan. If you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. I'll post all the videos down below. I also have a playlist for all the van build videos and the decision in choosing the van that we did. So check those out if you feel a little lost of where you're at. But we are taking the van build process by process by process, and I wanted to show you how the process of Matt thinking. There are times like I cannot help because he's still thinking it through and he's thinking on the fly. He's trying to fix certain things right there in the moment. And that's one thing cool about he'll build it, then we go test it out. We don't finish it off right away because in case we need to change something. So because it's the three of us, it's me, it's Matt, and the dog that are mainly in the van, and we kind of work around how we like things or trying to organize. I tend to work with what I'm given with, and then Matt tries to work it where it will work aesthetically, functional, and if it makes sense, and also accessibility. Getting access to certain wires, plumbing, all that stuff to be able to fix, because in the RV, we know things just end up, you just have to be able to fix it and have access to all things. So I hope you enjoy this video. There was little issues with, he had the AC running. I tried to work around it, but I show you certain aspects of why he did that, because the flooring, if you check out that video as well, why he put the 2x6 in the floor so he can mount the wall to the floor. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and make sure to hit the bell for future notifications. I will get more videos out to you. It's been a process this whole summer, and I'm happy to get back at it. So I will see you in the next video.
How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to Christine's channel. I know it's been a while since we had any van content, but sometimes life gets in the way of these projects and you just don't have enough time to get everything together. The other reason for that then is we also like to test things out. You know, we've got the bed functional here, got the L couch in, we got some storage in, some of the things we know we want. Now we've then tested it. We've used it a number of times. We've been down to Texas a few times with it, taken a couple trips in it. That way we see what we want to do, how the layout's working, make sure it's working and doing the things we want it to do. Now that we decided we like the van, the bed in particular, the way it is, it works very well. The lift works out well. The actuators here, they're not in a place where they're too obtrusive, and the bed goes up high enough for us that, you know, we easily can function underneath it. It's very comfortable when it's down. It's large enough to fit both of us easily, so it works out just fine. The L couch, the way it's working out, the entrance in, you know, all that seems to be working out just fine, so we definitely are going with this layout. Couple of issues we've had. Number one, with the doors here. So you can see here, the sliding doors that we put in here. They actually, I only at the top put in 2 brackets and then 1 screw in each bracket. So that way I figured it would hold in place well enough with 1 on each side. It doesn't. They do tend to move, which gets the slider then, or the track on the bottom, out of place. So I'm going to have to put another screw on the top of that and get those secured better. So that's one thing we did figure out. But again, simple fix. We can get that done easily. What I'm going to start on now is we're starting on the rest of the layout for the van. The rest of the cabinets here, the partitions then for the shower, where the cabinet is going to go to house the toilet, the shower wall here, and then the refrigerator. My goal is to get the skeleton built and the refrigerator in, so that way, and the toilet in. That way, again, we can test out how it goes before we put any finishing touches to it, before we get too far along that we don't want to then reverse course if we don't like the way it's set out. So that's what I'm starting now. I've got a little piece of floor to finish here, and then I'm going to start laying out where the extruded aluminum goes and put that together. Another thing that a couple people noticed on the videos is that we cut through some of the braces here in the ceiling. I'll turn this light off here and I'll do a close-up of some of those. And we did, and I don't have a problem with that. Some people commented, you know, how could we do that, or, you know, WTF and so forth. I don't have a problem cutting through the ceiling braces. And the reason I say that is when Ford designed these vans, they didn't design it knowing what you're going to do with it. Okay? So in this part of the project, you'll see we're going to end up putting bracing covering from one side of this to the other, and some bracing going across, and then bracing going down to the floor. There'll at least be 4 extruded aluminum braces going all the way to the floor, and 2 on this side, and again another cross brace. We've also put cross bracing in here, cross bracing in here, that connected all that together. So cutting through a portion of this, or even all of it that we cut through on this side, I don't have a problem with that. That'll be braced up fully from the floor on both sides and connected together on both sides of the van. So we're reinforcing that structure. There are companies that actually put a pop top on these. They cut the whole roof off to do that, you know. Again, if you reinforce it right, that's the replacement for the original bracing. So I don't have a problem cutting through that as long as you design it correctly and replace that with enough structure to make it sound again. So here's the channel. We had to cut something through to be able to mount the electrical, the 12 volt for the air conditioner. So this has been cut all the way through. Again, it will get another brace going all the way across here from that one all the way out, and that's part of what's going to make the upper cabinet, but it also will give us places to run down braces to the floor, which will replace the structure there. We replace some of that structure by connecting it front to back here, so those ribs are connected, and then the same thing here. This is bonded to the ceiling and then connected also. So there are structure that's replaced anytime we cut something through. Alright, now we have a couple plus nuts into the cross members there, and that's what will then bolt then the top of this wall here up. So I've got the wall built now, and it's just, again, extruded aluminum. I use a smart level here both across the floor and then with the floor here to get then level, so the walls are perpendicular to the floor. Now I've put in the plus nuts, got it all square, and I'm going to mount that now. Go. Okay, so you can see then with this mounted, how it gives structure then to both of these coming down. This will get another brace out here where this wall goes, where the refrigerator is going to be mounted and so forth. This will get closed in with the bottom down there, and this wall, this is where the slide out for the slide out shower curtain door will go right here. There'll be another one on this side once we put this wall in that will then close this side of it. So to shower, you'll close both to close this area off. Okay, I've got the second wall in. See, there's one up here and then down to the floor here. Now if you remember, we put a 2x6, treated 2x6 underneath along in there. You can see the marks on the floor right on each side of that 500 day. So that gives something more for those screws to grab onto to mount it to the ground. Now this is the width then of the refrigerator. So I'm going to then put a floor in here, going back, some plus nuts mounted to the wall. That'll give us a base for the refrigerator. I'll do that now. Alright, so here I'm making the mount for the refrigerator, the floor. That's going to be for the refrigerator. I use some plus nuts. I use some plus nuts to mount across the back there. And then I use the smart level then to make it level going to the front. I marked where that is. Now I'm going to add a bar across the front, and then bars going then to the back. Make a nice surface to put a piece of the OSB here for the floor for the refrigerator. Okay, We got this side roughed in now. You can see I've mounted the refrigerator. This is the Vitrifrigo Slim 150. So it's now mounted. It's not plumbed yet. I don't have the motor in, but it's basically in. This is then what's going to be a little countertop. We're not sure whether we're going to do cabinets or drawers there. Underneath there is where I'm going to mount the condenser and so forth for the refrigerator. The water pump will go in there. On the back side of it is where we'll end up putting a lot of the water heater and things for the cabin heat. Here's the cabinet side of things. I have another set of plus nuts midway down there to give this more structure. Bolted through then and screwed down to the floor. And you can see the refrigerator here. It mounts with just L angles. There's a place to put a bolt through the side and then cap that off. And then, like I said, in the bottom part of this is where we're going to mount the heat exchanger, the coolant tank, so forth, for the cabin heat and the hot water heat. Today we're working on the framing still. We're starting to work on the passenger side framing. In particular, I'm working on the bathroom, which would be just the toilet where it's mounted, and then the closet will be above that, and a drawer then again for part of the closet. What I've done here is I've started mounting the frame here. You can see again I've used plus nuts to attach it to the ceiling structure, again helping close off and re-support what we have worked on there. And then for the toilet, it is supported on slides that then will extend it out, so you use the toilet in the opening of the shower, push it back in when you're not using it. So that's what I'm working on now, is mounting this. I've got the one side mounted here, now we're working on the other side. See, again, I attach it to the floor, to the rear bulkhead, and then the rest of it comes out this way. It does hang open on this side here because it would sit onto the shower tub, and I wasn't sure if that was the better idea. It seems to hold well enough. If not, I can always put a rubber foot or something down to the shower head. Okay, I can show you how this works here now. You just unlock both the sliders, slide it into place. This will be a countertop here. This will be closed on the back, so you can't scoot in anywhere, but it's got enough room that you just unlock it, slide it into place, and then close it. Same thing. Slides right back into place. So worked out very well. I still have to put in then this rear bulkhead, which is going to be the back side of this cabinet here. This will have a door on it that'll open to expose the toilet to slide out. We will have a drawer right here, and then this top part will be then a closet to hang clothes in. It'll have actually a little false bulkhead here, little panel, just because it has to come off of here, which again will attach this then to something more solid, but we'll put a bar going across to here so we can hang wet stuff into here to drip into the shower. Christine's tails, if we go into the ocean, things like that, it'll be able to drip into this space. And then the shower head will be offset right up in here. That'll then give us our shower. Just a little trick that I use on places like this. I can't drill through this, so obviously you have to use an angle to get then the nutsert in the back there and hold it in place while you put the cap screw in is difficult, obviously, to hold that up and so forth. So what I use then is we have the little magnetized, demagnetized, and I take a small screwdriver, magnetize the screwdriver, then I can hold the insert up in the air with the screwdriver appropriately while I then put that in place. Obviously, you can tighten it down. Sorry, I'm holding the camera with one hand, so it's hard to show you beyond that. But I'll use this just to keep it in the right spot as I put the cap screw in. So the basic framing is done. You can see here, this is countertop, obviously. There'll be a stove here. Probably have a drawer here. This we're going to put a cabinet door in, but it might end up becoming a kennel for Molly. We'll have to see. When we ride in the van, she doesn't really stay in it, so probably we'll just do cabinets. I left the bottom open. We'll have a false floor there. Bottom open for shoe storage underneath. That will be a cabinet because the sink goes here. We think we'll have enough room down at the bottom for the microwave to stick in there. Obviously there is the bathroom. Now the toilet is on a slider. You unlock it and it slides out like so, and then lock it and put it back in. This part here then is going to become the shower wall. The shower head will be up top here. This will be storage access from the outside. All this down here in the bottom is where we'll put a lot of the components for the heating system, the hydronics heating system, which provides heat for the cabin here, and also then heat for the hot water. Here's obviously the refrigerator. It's a Vitrifrigo Slim 150. It has a remote compressor so you can put it wherever you want. Little drawer here for pop, things like that. It's part of the refrigerator. And then the rest of the refrigerator, and here's the freezer. There's a decent sized freezer in it. We still have to add a cabinet up here. And I'm going to move the controls for the bed and the water and so forth will be up there. Obviously just a little countertop. We'll put some drawers in here. It's kind of where we are, but it's taking shape. Here's where the compressor is going to be mounted. It is just sitting there now until I get it wired up and the connections made. Here's where I've brought power forward through the conduit to this box here, and I'll bring then power out. The ground is going to go to that block there. I've added an extra ground strap all the way up to the battery, just to give this a little better direct connection than just through the chassis. The other connection that it has is a 120 volt. You can see where that is there. As far as the 120 volt goes, the way this one's wired separately for us. It's wired separately to the inverter charger. There is a branch of the inverter charger that only runs when the system is plugged in. That way it's only running off of the 120 if we're plugged into shore power. Otherwise it runs off 12 volt battery. Now continuing on with the passenger side compartment, the frame out here. This here is going to be drawers, as will this. So we have then the interior frame here. I'm going to mount 1x through here, true 1x, and that way it gives me something to mount the drawer slides to. Same thing on this side. And then over here, this top portion here actually will be a little indent, because this is where we're going to put the induction cooktop. We also did a little more power, ran some more power. Now this was already pre-wired here, but it hasn't been hooked up fully. So we wired then the GFI outlet for this, the microwave, and the induction will plug into that. It's on its own branch. And then this will be in the wall up here. Obviously this is just temporary where it sits right now, but this will be then on the same circuit that this one is. Again, this is just here temporarily, but it'll be mounted into the wall there. This is then another branch. These will obviously only be running when we're either plugged in shore power or for inverting, as same way with these USBs. So I will put a little 12 volt USB bank up here, and the same thing over here. I've got the wire already ready. I just have to run it up and then make the connections for it. All right, here's what we did today. I put some 1x, it's an exact 1x. It's actually stair treads, since they're 1 inch wide exactly, that I then ripped down, so I didn't have to plane anything down to exact 1 inch. That way it fits exactly the width of the extruded aluminum. I put this in this way because this is what I'm going to mount. This is going to be drawers here. Actually, this part here will be a inside shelf, so we'll lift up the top here to access the induction cooktop that'll be there. But then this will be drawers. This gives me a place to mount the drawer mounts, the hardware to, on each side, to make the bank of drawers here and here. I also then put in the interior panel for the cabinet here This will get facing here, as will this. This will get facing here, but I wanted the inside to be sealed. I'm going to put a back on there also. That outlet we won't access normally. I'll make the back removable in case we have to. So we made more progress here this weekend. You can see all of the sides are in. This is where we will mount the drawer glides, because this will all be a bank of drawers. This will be a bank of drawers. We have the indent shelf put in place, which is where we will have, obviously, the cooktop just like it is, but it'll shut down. The countertop will shut down over top of it, so we'll have a clear countertop. Lift it up then to cook. We can keep utensils in here for cooking, etc. The microwave is in place. That's where it's going to live. And then the sink is going to go right in about here. Obviously, there's no countertop, so that's not mounted. It's just there, so we make sure we fit everything the way we want. This, we're still not sure. We're thinking about some open cubbies. We actually might need an opening here to make a little stair step, so that way we can get up to the bed when it's in its down position, because it actually sits on top of the countertop here. It's at 36 inches tall, so that is a bit of a jump. Again, the toilet is in on its sliders. Shower base is in. Here's the refrigerator. It is installed and running. I've got some of the wood here. This is the barn wood we're using for our decorative wood. It has been coated with polyacrylic and mounted. We have then a cabinet. This will have countertop on it, and this will be a cabinet. All the electrical is ready to go. The 110 is actually working. Some of the 12 volts for the USB outlets are not wired in yet. I've got this decorative barn wood done. It's drying, as with this one. That'll be up here in the next few days.